Buongiorno and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. This time it's not, however, purely metal, even though there is a strong connection to metal music with this given band from Italy. This one is, I don't know how you want me to pronounce it, but you could say, if I'm hiding it a little bit here, like synth, but is it actually synth? Or maybe we could go with the behemoth type of pronunciation and call it synth. Whatever you call it, this one is called, as you can see, Pink Noise Youth. Came here for review both as vinyl and CD. Let's start with the CD Digipack release, non-glossy. And as you can see already from the cover, doesn't really indicate this is something very metallic. It's not just a pink color, obviously. We're talking about the whole packaging here. If I was browsing albums on record store, which is the way we did it back in the days, based on the cover itself, I would guess this is some kind of a indie pop music. This is not obviously to curse other genres. I'm merely pointing it out that sometimes, quite oftentimes even when we're talking about physical products, album covers have a big part how you want to get your message through. And everything here resonating from the pink, white, black death, not death, where that came from. I mean, everything here is basically seeing this is some kind of an indie rock thing, maybe pop music, whatever. But the thing here is, this band indeed does have a metal past, and it's still, to a certain degree, very much present on this album. However, I would say this is mostly post-rock. But, and there is always a but, sometimes it's a sweet but with nice cheeks and all, and sometimes it's quite different. Came as a damaged goods, and this time nobody can blame the packaging. It was actually very, very nicely packed one with, proper vinyl packaging, but somehow really hates the, vinyl albums, or then it's just, as we call, unfortunate events taking place in wherever the packaging goes. So as you can see, a little bit folded goodies here. There's a nice looking lady saying, hello, please listen to my music while I have my eyelids closed. And this is how the packaging looks like. As you can see, it's worth your money in terms of packaging. So if you go for a physical product, I don't know what else you would want rather than a vinyl, assuming you're a vinyl listener. And as you might already guess the color, I mean, I was guessing, I didn't know. Obviously, it's pink, hot pink. So, yeah, get your romantic motions going on. We're going for Metal Archive site for a little bit of background information. So what started, according to information Metal Archives, I must honestly admit that I don't know the previous works by this band, supposed to be black metal. So later on, post-black metal, post-rock, whatever happened to these guys, I don't know, but they have been active since 2006. Even if this with this name from 2011, and even said here that so 2020 there was something going on. So it all goes back long time, and 2011 and onwards they have been pushing out music. But something changed along the years, and now 2025 we are not really talking about black metal, even though you could still hear these black metal reminiscent like through the music, and this is mostly through some of the vocals. They are kind of a black metal screamy, no doubt. And when I was actually linking to my colleague who just happens to like post rock and stuff like that, not really a metalhead, he was like, yeah, it sounds good, but some of the vocals are like, I don't know, not my thing really. And I get it. When I was listening to this one, most of the album just spins nicely, creating these post-rock feelings and not really getting heavy, not to mention extreme. However, there are these, screamy parts or raspy parts, if you will, which are definitely not exactly, the type of stuff that you would expect from a post-metal thing. So you have these black metal reminders, but it's more like a seasoning. And maybe you can let it slide even if you are into this kind of stuff and not so much raspy parts when you are enjoying the music as whole. Then again, you could really just live without them and nobody would probably bat an eye. Now, musically, this goes for post-rock, but obviously a lot of post-rock songs and albums tend to be fully instrumental. Here, however, you have only a couple of takes of that through the 8 tracks, meaning that about 30 minutes, give or take, or a little bit more, is just post-rock with vocals, obviously. And the vocals are then again more divided into clean and these screamy, raspy sections, and as such, it creates a certain versatility, or diversity maybe in this case, what then again, supports the album, avoiding the bullet that is so many times, one trick pony. So you have a lot of different ideas going back and forth, and they handle things nicely. But of course, you kind of have to be a post-rock fan or close to it in order to enjoy this. For me, it was a pretty decent album overall, and I would say when I'm in the mood for something softer like this, and I'm not really like, hey, I want something else than just extreme metal and all, this is pretty nice of an album. But I would still say what this album is missing are the instantaneous, hit songs, the kind of a really catchy parts where you just feel like, yeah, it's nailing it. When we're talking about, the bigger bands in the genre, Black Phoenix or, I was gonna say Gojira, but I don't mean Gojira. I'm thinking of this certain band, Mogwai, came to my mind. And sometimes you really have these bands which are maybe not overall, the big things for you, but you have certain favorite songs. It did it for me. Or even bands like God is an Astronaut. So great tunes every now and then. But then you start asking yourself, do I want it instrumental or do I go with the vocals? Now, this is obviously something that is very, very much up to each and individual's, matter of taste. So if you got a soft spot for vocals with post-rock and all, I would say go for it. There's nothing to bitch about the production or songwriting in general, except maybe the lack of catchiness. But then again, for those who it really matters, if the vocals kind of put you off when you're going for post-rock or post-metal for that matter, this might not do the thing for you. But those who are looking for some kind of a metallic output, with the exception of the black metal, vocal parts, this is not gonna be it. So I guess in a way, this cover already is like a warning sign to you. So it can be a lure in or just get the hell out of here kind of a thing, depending of your taste buds and likings and whatnot. But in its own genre, I think something interesting is happening here, and I wouldn't be surprised if later on this was seen more like a transition phase of an album, meaning if they really decide to let go of these metallic parts or black metal presence there, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't even say it's a bad idea. Maybe just fully go into the world of post-rock and all and embrace it fully. But it's an interesting release nonetheless, even if it's kind of a hybrid between, black metal past and post-rock and all. So give it a go if you think this is your cup of tea. Links provided in the description box as always. See ya.